What do you think we should do? Should we wear this? Should we wear that? Oh, hello! And I'll say, what? No. What? I am not committal. And she said, you know what? You ain't gonna hurt my feelings anymore in the morning. I'm gonna leave you alone. I'm not gonna talk to you until after breakfast. And I'll go, thank you. Thank you. Because her feelings would get hurt because I was not awake. I was not aware. I did not want to be awake. I did not want to be aware. Leave me alone. Stop talking to me so much. As soon as I open my eyes, I don't want to think. I don't want to question. I don't want to plan the day. Let me have my space. And an hour later, if you just leave me alone, I gather myself. And then I'm like, okay, where are we going? What are we going to do? Oh, I'm there. But you got to give me my space. Now, if she insisted that I had to engage with her early in the morning, that would just start an argument. And we'd start off the day annoyed with each other. So she's learned to leave me alone. And I'll come in at some point, and we'll start to have a nice time together. And the same with her issue with having a wet floor. We all have idiosyncrasies and peculiarities and mannerisms that other people may find irritating. Even how you laugh. Do you know some people hate the way people around them laugh? You're like, well, what's the problem with that? It may be the sound of your voice. There's something that people will just go, ooh, when she does that or he does that, it drives me crazy. This is a person you will have to grow in mercy with. So when you see this person respond in that way that just is you, if the person will not correct themselves after you said it over and over and over again, you have to decide, okay, is this person in my life for real, for real? Well, if this person is in your life for real, for a long time, and God has ordained them to be in your life, you can choose to be angry with them every day, or you can choose to be merciful. That is, extend them compassion and kindness and forgiveness. And if they're trying to meet some of your issues, give them a break. Because it's not my thing to check my bathroom to look for all the places where it's wet. I'm going to forget because it's not my thing. You'll go in there and you'll be like, okay, is it okay? Okay. Give people a break. Give them a break. If they're trying. But wherever they mess up, your grace and mercy has to meet that place if you're going to live in peace. So if you want to grow in mercy, you have to grow in patience and peace and grace towards that person whose quirks can drive you crazy. The second way we can be more merciful is to help everybody around us. Because there are hurting people all around us. And sometimes we're too busy to notice that someone is hurting. Remember the story of the Good Samaritan? The guy falls victim to some robbers, and they beat him up and rob him and everything, and these supposedly good people pass him, and they see he's in pain, and they just pass on by. But one person stops, the Good Samaritan. And the Good Samaritan is from a different race, a different culture. But he showed mercy. Jesus said, the one who shows mercy is the one who is your neighbor. The one who has the heart of God. Because they don't look out with just, do I know you? Are you dangerous? Are you going to do something to me if I help you? No, they just see the hurt. They just see the hurt. And they respond in compassion to what they see. Proverbs 3:27 says, whenever you possibly can, do good to those who need it. I love to help people, but honestly, sometimes I feel like there's a sign on my head, and that sign says, we'll help you, we'll help you. And it flashes as I walk around. Anybody ever feel that way? I can tell you, sometimes I laugh because so many people will stop me in a day, sometimes within moments of each other. Can you help me with this? Can you give me this? Can I have this? And I'll be like, Lord, is there a sign on my head? And there actually is. What does that sign say? What are some of the signs over my head? And for those of you who frequently get stopped by the people with the handout, they can see it. They can see it. And it's a sign that says mercy, compassion, a giver, a helper. Don't think it's strange that there's this sign that people read over you, because they see it in the spirit. And if you're never stopped, what kind of sign is over you if you're never stopped? If instead of people coming to you with a handout, they look at you and go, oh no, I can't say nothing to so and oh no. They got that look on their face. Keep away, keep away, keep away. Jesus knew that people were coming to him for help. He had a huge sign over him wherever he went. I will help you. I will heal you. I will deliver you. I will set you free. I have a heart for you. Come to me, some who are weary. Come to me, some who are weary.
All who are weary.
Come to me, all who are weary. I'm not saying that you are to respond to everyone who comes to you. What I am saying, don't get frustrated and irritated when people come to you, because the Spirit of the Lord is within you, and the Spirit of the Lord is open to helping people, and people sense by the Spirit, whether they know it or not, that you are a person who has love and compassion in your heart. They'll see it. They'll read you. The third way we can grow in mercy is that we can give people a second chance. Guys, forgiveness is not normal. That's why it's such a hard choice. When somebody hurts us, we either going to get even or write them off. Most of us don't have that first response, oh, I forgive you. In Ephesians it says, don't get bitter or angry or use harsh words that hurt each other. Don't yell at one another or curse or ever be rude. Instead, be kind and merciful and forgive others just as God forgave you. Look at all the things that he contrasts with mercy. There's mercy over here, and over here is a list of things not to do. Don't get bitter, don't get angry, don't use harsh words, don't yell, don't curse, and don't be rude. And over here, the answer to all of them, be merciful. So anytime you have the opportunity to get angry, say harsh things, yell, curse, be rude, and be bitter, God says choose the opposite response to all of those, and that's to be merciful. So how would you rate yourself on being merciful?
Good.
Good. Believe me, God is going to bring around you somebody who's going to need you to give them more mercy than you have been. There's somebody in all of our lives that we're going to need more mercy than we have been spending towards them. We maybe say, you know what, we're in peace, we're good, but that's not good enough for God. God is not into we're good. He's into we're restored. There's a difference, folks. There's a difference. Mercy is giving people what they need, not what they deserve. And what they deserve is to be told off. That's what they deserve, but that's not what they need. And so there's somebody in your life that if you could just tell them the T-R-U-T-H, you would. But God is saying if a person is appearing in your head who you would love to just tell it like it is to, God is saying that's actually the person you need to grow in mercy with the most. The most. That doesn't mean you agree with what they say or what they do, but that you don't close your heart off to them. Because that's what's easy to do, is to say, you know what? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling her. I'm not feeling him. The heart is closed. The mouth may be interacting. The situations may cause engagement, but the heart is closed. It's closed. And God is saying that person needs you to extend yourself and ask for His mercy. Because, again, this is not something you can feel on your own. You cannot make yourself feel merciful towards someone who drives you crazy. You have just an extensive amount that you can muster up. And then it's gone. And so God is saying, let me come in and give you that mercy and that compassion that you need. In Luke chapter 6, it says, Jesus says, love your enemies, do good to them, and lend to them without expecting to get anything back. The last way I want to talk about how to be more merciful is to choose to look beyond what's comfortable and familiar. Saints, we're not going to save anybody if all we do is talk to the people we know. Be around the people that we know. Fellowship with the people that we know. And everybody we know is saved. Or they're just not going to choose to go any further with God. Sometimes we got to break out of our comfort zone and reach to people we normally wouldn't reach out to. Once a month, I go to the New York City Rescue Mission, and I preach to to the homeless women there. And they're such beautiful women. They don't have a house, but they have hearts. And they want what all of us want. They want a home, they want a stable life, they want a job. And I can relate to all of them. And I pray for them. They don't even let me leave without praying for them. A couple of times I was walking out the door and it was like, "You didn't pray." Okay, let me come back and pray, because prayer to them is an extension of God's love. So often they're overlooked or avoided, and people don't make contact with them. That's why I admired that young man who would go looking for them to cut their hair, to just help them in their grooming, to just build up their self-esteem. And he understood how important that was. And when we take time out of our lives to go into the shelters and the missions, and we say, in effect, by our presence, "You matter." The time I take out of my life to come and serve you, whether it's with the word and their church groups that come in and feed them, and there's worship teams that come in and sing to them, and they're just overwhelmed with the love of God. Because when we take time with them, they know how precious it is, because very few people take time with them. Very few. Last week when I was on my way here, further down the street was a homeless woman. And, you know, she was all in tatters and everything, and she was walking along the street. And what I noticed was that she was causing a reaction. Because she's walking along the street and she's doing something different from what a lot of homeless people do. She was looking people in the eye. And mostly they don't. But she was looking them in the eye. And the people were walking towards her, and they saw that she was looking them directly in the eye. Sometimes she would stop right in front of them. So they would either have to go around her to avoid her, because they were coming straight towards her. And she would hold out her arms. I understood what she was doing. She was saying, "Look at me. I matter. I'm somebody. Nobody looks at me." That's what the Spirit was telling me she was doing. Because she would not let people pass by unless they acknowledged her in some way. And what they did was they put their head down and went around her any way they could. Folks, we can all grow. Whether it's being more compassionate towards the people who drive us crazy in our inner world, or being more available to the people who are forgotten by our society. We don't know who God is trying to connect us with. So I just want to expand your horizons. If everybody in your world is set in their patterns and you're like, there's nobody to talk to about God, there's nobody to show the mercy and kindness of God to, everybody's set in their patterns, then maybe you need to expand your horizons. Because God wants you to connect to people. He wants you to build bridges of love. And you do that by showing mercy and compassion and being alert and being aware for those opportunities. You cannot win enemies to Christ. You cannot win enemies to Christ. You can only win friends to Christ. that homeless man, I just love him so much. The man who ministers to the homeless. In Florida, and many of the counties, it's illegal for the homeless to loiter in the parks. It's illegal. And they arrest the homeless. They arrest them. And if you go to feed the homeless in Florida, they will arrest you. Yes, they will. Because they're seeing it is that you're encouraging them. They're going to always come here and get food, and they're so messy and they're so dirty. And we want our county and our parks to look a certain way. So if you feed the homeless in some of these counties, you will be arrested. Mercy. We all need it. So your application steps. Ask yourself, who is the most annoying person in my life? Your mission, should you accept it, is instead of choosing to avoid them like you'd like to, is to ask God to give you mercy for them. Second step for this week, ask God to show you someone who is hurting around you. And then ask God to help you be an agent of mercy towards that person. Third step, somebody you said, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. Ask God to help you give them a second chance. For some of you, this is the 700th chance. But as long as the power and love of God is within you, and you can have access to that through the Holy Spirit, there's always another chance. So somebody you wrote off, I'm done, give them the next chance. And somebody who's hurt you, ask God to help you do good to them instead. And lastly, ask God to help you be alert to people around you. Not just who you're familiar with, who you're comfortable with. Ask God to open up a conversation with somebody you never thought that you'd have a conversation with. And then ask God to help you show that person mercy and love. And the worship team can come up.